what's up everybody? I'm finally back and my throat is much better. I actually lost my voice for a little bit, so I was debating between doing a video with no voiceover and just music, and then I didn't want to, I know a lot of people prefer voiceovers to music, and trying to find like 10 minutes worth of royalty-free music that I wasn't going to get dinged for didn't sound like fun. I just didn't want to risk it. So I decided to wait till my voice was better. So it's still kind of on the mend, but it's much better than it was. And so I can finally talk about some of my layouts that you might have been seeing on Instagram the past week. And this is one of them. And it's called Can I Help? And it was for a paper issues challenge for May. That, like, you can't do the May challenges anymore, but you can always do the June challenges now, which are really awesome, and you have the whole month to do them and you can win a prize. So if you're not following the Paper Shoes fans and friends Facebook page, you should totally come join. It's a lot of fun over there and a lot of inspiration. And so this one was just about what were you seeing a lot lately? Like, you know, maybe you're binge watching something, maybe you're reading something, maybe you're cloud watching lately, like that type of thing. And so I thought I would do one about my friendly little helper who likes to come in and check out what I'm doing. Sometimes when I'm scrapbooking and sit on my stuff and look at me like, oh, what's going on? Or stare out the window, because my table, like my desk, is right in front of a window, and it's not like there aren't any other windows in the house. This isn't a prison. She can totally go to every other window. But if I open up my door, her and her sister like to come bolting in and jump right up on my desk and look out the window as if there's something magical outside this window. And it's kind of funny because my old cats, they didn't do this kind of thing. They never really cared about being in my scrap room. They never came and laid down when I was working or any of that stuff, but these ones do. So that's kind of different for me to have helpers in my room. And I just thought I would do a whole bunch of fun layers and use up some papers that are just kind of sitting around in my stash. A lot of it is Maggie Holmes' older and newer. And when I say newer, I mean in the last 2 to 3 years newer. And then older as in like maybe 2012, 13 type era. And I am just combining based on color and maybe pattern size more than anything. There's no specific theme going on. I did put pinks and florals in because why not? She is a female cat. So I didn't really see anything wrong with doing whatever colors I wanted. I liked adding in some of the black and white polka dot, and that was a Bella Boulevard paper. And the other side of it was a whole bunch of cut aparts, and I technically bought it for the polka dot side, of course. So, and this is a newer pink paisley, no, not pink paisley, Pink for Studio paper from, it's one of those new ones, either Be You or Let Your Heart Decide. It was, or it might even be Case of the Blahs, but I don't think it is. I think it's one of the other two. And it's kind of a polka dot, but with little lines in between it. So I've got some varying sizes going on here. Like I've got polka dots, like black and white polka dots, but they're 2 different sizes. I've got some solids in there with the kind of leather looking paper that's darker. The blue is a tone on tone geometric blue. So to me, that is a neutral, or kind of like a solid because it's tone on tone. And I've got a tiny floral that's multicolored, and I've got a larger, slightly multicolored kind of floral. It's got some birds in it too, and I thought that was kind of cute to to play off with her being a cat, and I'm fairly certain when she's looking out the window she's looking for birds. So I just thought that that would kind of go in nicely with it. I think I ended up putting some vellum behind the paper, just to add a little bit of texture and dimension. But it's not going to be a heavily embellished piece because it doesn't need to be. There's so much going on already with all the layers, and it's 4 photos and they're fairly large. I believe this got printed out on an 8.5 by 11 sheet of photo paper. Now it might not have been the whole, obviously it wasn't the whole 8.5 and 11 across, but I did have to use a larger paper for this one. So I'm just kind of adding some washi tape on the sides to just add some interest and stretch out the focal kind of layering in the middle, but without adding more papers to it. So by layering the washi tape, you're kind of, you know, there's still some see-throughness to it, so it's a bit of, it's light and it's airy. And then I wanted to put some on the top and bottom because I just like to ground my layouts that way. Like if I'd left it, it would have just felt like as if the photos could have just floated off the edge, like that type of thing. It just seemed kind of weird to me. So to bring in some more repeating patterns, I had some left over of that Bella Boulevard polka dot, which would probably, I would say, would be my favorite of all the patterns going on here because I just love polka dots. In black and white. What are they called? Patterns. That's it. I swear it's not just my voice that left. Other things might have left as well. So it's like, I think that black and white stripe washi is from New Crepe Paper, like here and there. There's some Heidi Swap. There's Stargazer by Dear Lizzie. So just anything that kind of fit the color scheme. I wasn't too worried about anything else. This is like a frame from an old crepe paper collection, and I cut it in 2, and it's got like a leopard print on it type thing, and I just thought, well, that's kind of cute because, you know, cat. So I just thought it would make a little neat addition to the top and bottom, and I decided to stick it right to the top and bottom. And I don't know, it's just something I saw like on a layout on Pinterest, I think, and I was like, that's a really kind of neat idea. I did cut a larger frame in 2 first, and I didn't like it. It was just too big. So this one's a little bit smaller. That chipboard piece that says, "Oh, hello there," is also from that same crepe paper. It's really old. I think it's older than Maggie Holmes stuff. I don't even remember what it was called. That's it there. I've only got a few pieces of it left. So I keep thinking like, I've really got to go crazy with the embellishing, but no, I don't. Like, what would I even do? You know, like I thought about even just putting in a heart, and then I didn't even do that. But I have this cat meow one, and it's from My Mind's Eye, and I have the chipboard and like 2 or 3 papers. And I thought, well, why don't I don't use it very often, so why don't I just bring in some of it? And I cut that little flower with the kind of leaves on either side in half, and it just made a nice little piece behind that chipboard. And then I've got the little paw prints and the colors match, so I'm just going to kind of work with some small embellishing, and like that's pretty much it. I don't think I do any more embellishing over that besides adding the title and the and some ink splatters and stuff like that, just to bring in a little bit more contrast with a dark color like a black or something like that, because there is a lot of pink and blue and everything going on, and the background is a very light grid. It's almost like a kind of off-white and a very light pink grid, so you really have to strain to see it in the photos and everything like that. And I wanted to use a lowercase I for the, you know, I mean, it's a cat. So why not? I would think if cats could spell, they wouldn't necessarily spell correctly. So I love those old foam black thickers. They're one of my favorites. And it's another way to bring in that contrast, and they're small enough that I can fit the whole title on the top, so I don't have to worry about where the rest of it's going to go. And I just thought it was really cute. And I'm just kind of making sure it's kind of in the place that I want it to be. Just because I want it to stretch across the same way on both sides. But yeah, I'm really fiddling with it too. And I had some paper that I could use kind of as a guide for where to lay everything out. But yeah, besides adding some ink, that's about it. Like, that's the layout. It didn't need any more. There's so much going on already with the patterns and the paper layers that it kind of spoke for itself. It didn't need a whole lot of embellishing, which is unusual for me because I am a big embellisher. So it was hard to walk away, but I did. And yeah, so the pictures are going to be coming up. Thanks guys so much for sticking around through my voice. It's starting to go, and I know I have to go grab some water here. I'll see you in the next video. Thanks so much for liking, subscribing, and if you're a patron, thank you so much. And bye!